Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my Instagram and my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy that you have joined me today to listen. And we're going to be talking about a very important topic, one that's really close to my heart and that affects so many of us, especially women and those who resonate with divine feminine energy. So, we're going to talk about something known as the witch wound. And this is a very important scar on the psyche, even if you don't class yourself as a witch, even if you have never thought that you may have had lifetimes as a witch. But, it's really important to just be aware of this wound because in many, many Akashic record healings and physical healings, people getting pregnant, fertility work that I've done, you'll find that this wound comes up again and again and again. So it's something we call the witch wound, and anyone who hasn't had an experience of this will know how it's a deep and painful ancestral wound. It's actually a scar on the psyche, so it can leave a scar on the soul and the etheric, and it can very much leave a trauma response in the cellular memory. So what is it? What is it? What is this witch wound? Let's find out. And what I'm more interested in us working out is how can the divine feminine energy, how is it helping us to heal that? So make yourself comfortable and let's explore this. So the witch wound is a term that refers to this deep, often unconscious trauma, and it's carried by lots of women and some men because obviously we have male and female lifetimes and we incarnate now in this body, but we carry both. We carry all the journeys of all our lifetimes within us. And it's a trauma that's carried by many people and that have been oppressed for their connection to the feminine energy, the intuitive and the spiritual realms. Historically, women who were seen and known as witches were often healers and wise women, midwives, shamans, any woman that would have wanted to live on her own or wanted to not have a partnership with a man or just live a little bit differently was often classed as a witch. But often it's those who held sacred knowledge and lived in tune with nature and the cycles of life. So you'll notice it in the way we live right now on Earth is a very patriarchal space. It is changing, but you'll see that if you live slightly differently to someone else, you'll have an onslaught of difficult mental energy coming at you, emotional energy, sometimes even difficulties working within the system, lots of blockages and obstacles that are actually all showing you that being different is not allowed on some level. And so when we're looking at witches, they had it in a much more concentrated form. These women were often persecuted. We've heard about them being burned at the stake and tortured for simply existing out of patriarchal norms or their societal's norms. And many of these women were labeled as witches, which actually means wise woman. And because of this persecution of who they were, and when I look at the divine feminine, I'm made aware that it's because they embraced their power, their intuition, and their connection to earth and spirit. They were really living in alignment with their truth and their intention. And so this trauma, these horrific experiences are often experienced on a soul level, but then passed down the generations on the DNA. And the witch wound manifests in many different ways today. Some of us may feel afraid to speak our truth, and some of us may not want to be public or to be anyway stand out and be different from the crowd. This can have terrible blocks on sharing of spiritual gifts, and there might be some deep shame around being intuitive or creative or having the ability to heal and nurture others. And there might be a feeling of unworthiness in the quality of standing in one's power. These can all be deeply unconscious. Sometimes it can just be when I've had clients come to me, they could just be, struggling with moving into the next vision of what they want to create for themselves and they don't know why. And then we've looked a bit deeper into the pattern and we're looking at a witch wound. Sometimes it can be an infertility issue. like to really embrace their divine feminine, their creative powers, they can often push it away as see it as something that's dangerous or unhealthy. So here's the good news that the divine feminine within us all is rising, and we're seeing a lot more people manifesting, holding that power within them. And the divine feminine is calling us to remember who we truly are and to heal the deep scars of the past and to step into the fullness of our own power. And when I'm talking about the divine feminine, I think people talk a lot about this, and I really don't know if they know what it is. To me, it's a feeling, it's sensing, a feeling of being in some incredible flow that's much bigger than me. And it isn't just, the divine feminine isn't just a concept or like a distant architect, archetype, not architect, but it's an energy, a force of creation, a wisdom, compassion. It's very transformative, this quality. And this energy actually exists within us, whether you're a man or a woman or anything else. It exists in nature. And right now, the divine feminine at this time on earth is actively clearing the witch wound on a collective level. Now, I do a lot of work with twin flame energy, so I do a lot of work with the divine feminine because we are pulling back a lot of this wounding and making sure that we can activate into a new timeline, creating more of this beauty, compassion, resonance on earth that we're bringing in. So the healing of the witch wound begins by reclaiming your power. And we must connect with the deep wisdom of our bodies and honor that intuition and recognize the sacredness of our own emotions. And when we allow ourselves to feel and express the truth of who we are, we begin to heal the trauma of being silenced and persecuted for so long. But clearing the witch wound is not just on an individual process or an individual level, it's a collective healing. And as we heal individually, we also have this effect on the collective. We're also clearing these energies for our ancestors and future generations. And we're actually healing the land as well. We're healing Gaia as we do this. We are breaking free from the cycles of fear, repression, and disempowerment that have been passed down for centuries. So, one of the most powerful ways the divine feminine is helping us to heal this wound is through community. And in these times, there is a beautiful shift happening, a rise in like women and individuals coming together, supporting each other and reclaiming our sacred knowledge. I see this with wonderful women's circles, wonderful men's circles, even. Like there's this real push to recreate this healing quality of unity within us. So whether it's through kind of circles of sisterhood or healing circles or spiritual gatherings, the energy of the divine feminine is healing the witch wound by fostering like unity and connection with all of us. And we're also seeing like this reclamation of ancient wisdom coming in, especially connecting to the earth, connecting to the elements. And I always see this as connecting to what is real, what is divine, what is real. Yes, we see this connection with mobile phones and this kind of big technology push, but also people are really reconnecting to the body, to nature, to animals, to plants, to everything that makes them feel alive and makes them feel good. And, this is beautiful that we're coming together to reclaim the sacred knowledge and we're doing it together. And we'll also be able to recognize that there is sacredness and power. And what I notice with the human experience is to have reverence and wonder is so important with what we do, because otherwise, if we don't have those things, we disappear into the mundane. And that to us is a kind of killer for the natural fire of the spirit. So if you've ever felt the weight or the shame or fear when it comes to embracing these beautiful parts of you, this creative, sacred parts, your creativity, your spiritual gifts, your ability to even communicate and talk to people, then I just want you to know you're not alone. This is a collective healing journey, and the divine feminine is guiding us every step of the way. So to clear the witch wound, I recommend it's really important to go within the body to get really clear when you're doing this work within you, to acknowledge any feelings or emotion that comes up, to acknowledge any fear. And instead of repressing or ignoring it, I would encourage you to develop a conversation with it, a connection, to do a practice like meditate or journaling or connect with nature, ask for nature to help release this energy with you, and just allow yourself to feel and experience the emotions that arise and to create a safe space so that you can express this through your authentic self, your authentic nature. So, the earth also, Gaia, this beautiful consciousness of Gaia, is part of our healing. She's a major part of this process, and we're working it through with her as a collective. So, nature in all the forms has always been a sacred space for the divine feminine. And by spending time in nature, you're actually receiving a lot of the sacred codes, the divine geometry that comes through nature that we respond to. And the more you reconnect with this energy and allow space for this, you're actually releasing any limiting beliefs or fears that are holding you back. And one final moment that I would like to take here is to just to remind you that no matter where you're at, no matter how long it's taking now, and no matter how you feel, like healing something like this, healing the witch wound is a journey and it's not going to happen overnight. But it's not really about fixing yourself, it's more about remembering and reclaiming all the parts of who you are. And we are whole and we are powerful and we are sacred, and the divine feminine is here to guide us back to the truth. So as we heal this within us, if we really begin to honor this divine feminine part of us, we begin to heal the world around us as well. And that's just not woo-woo language. I mean, if you step into this and the wisdom of the divine feminine and allow it to flow through you and honor it, celebrate it, share yourself, then we're actually reclaiming our power, our magic, and our rightful place in the world. I like to think that we are dissolving the patriarchy and, creating a more balanced space based on unity and love and freedom, and much more consciously looking at how life can flow through us and create more life. So, thank you so much for being here and taking this journey with me. If this message resonates with you, give me a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from it. I'm doing special Akashic Record healings on the International Women's Day this week, and please come and join me on those where we look at your own personal witch wound. If you have had an experience of the witch wound, let me know in the comments. It's different for everyone, and it's just really good to hear other people's journeys on this process. And just let me know if you know any practices where you've connected with your intuition and power and through healing your witch wound. So until next time, I just want you to know that you are loved, you are blessed, and the divine feminine is flowing through you always.